Khloe Kardashian looks back on the chaotic birth of her daughter that occurred right after the cheating scandal involving Tristan Thompson. Hi, before we continue, please subscribe to the channel for all Kardashians news and update. Khloe Kardashian has been through many tough moments in her life, but one of the most painful and emotional times was when she was getting ready to welcome her daughter into the world. At that time, she was expecting her first child and was full of excitement and nervousness, just like any first-time mom. But something happened that shook her world. Just a few days before she was supposed to give birth, she found out from reports on the internet that her partner, Tristan Thompson, had not been faithful to her. This shocking news came while she was 9 months pregnant, and it brought a lot of pain, confusion, and heartbreak. In a new episode of her podcast called Khloe in Wonderland, Khloe decided to talk openly about that difficult period of her life. She shared how hard it was to be so close to giving birth and to also deal with the painful reality that the person she trusted had broken her heart. She remembered clearly how everything unfolded, and even though it was years ago, the memory still feels very fresh to her. Khloe explained that after finding out about the betrayal, she went into labor just 2 days later. It was a very emotional and stressful time. On one hand, she was about to meet her baby girl. On the other hand, her heart was broken, and she had to make some very serious decisions very quickly. One of those decisions was whether or not Tristan should be in the delivery room when she gave birth. People around her asked if she wanted him there, considering what had just happened. Even though many might expect her to say no, she said yes. She said that it was her first child and, in that moment, she felt that it was the right thing to do. Even though her heart was hurting, Khloe made the choice to include him in that important moment. She thought about her child and what that day would mean in the future. She remembered that day very clearly. She said that even though she knew what Tristan had done, she made the decision to go through with the birth as if everything was okay. She chose to stay calm, to act as if nothing was wrong, even though she was hurting deeply inside. Her family was also there, including her siblings and her mother, so she tried her best to keep everything peaceful and focused on the baby. Khloe shared how she put on a brave face and told herself they were going to go through the birth like nothing had happened. She didn't want to create more tension in that moment. Her focus was on having a smooth delivery and making sure that her daughter entered the world surrounded by love, even if things behind the scenes were not perfect. It was not easy for her to do this. She said she had to act like everything was fine, even when she felt the complete opposite inside. Later in the episode, Khloe opened up even more when talking to her guest, Mel Robbins. She talked about how that moment still affects her today. She said she sometimes goes back and watches the video footage from that time, and it makes her feel very sad. When she looks at herself in those videos, she sees a person who is there physically but not emotionally. She explained that she wasn't really present in that moment. Her body was there, and she was doing everything she was supposed to do, but her heart and mind were not there. She said it felt like she was having an out-of-body experience. Khloe described how she went into what she called autopilot. That means she just moved through the motions without really feeling them. She wasn't able to process everything at that time because there was too much going on emotionally. She was hurt, but she knew she had to be strong for her daughter. Even though she was in pain, she put True first and made sure everything was done in a way that her daughter could look back on with peace. She didn't want the memory of her birth to be filled with drama or sadness. She talked about how much she thought about her daughter in that moment. Everything she did for True. She wanted her daughter to grow up knowing that her father was there when she was born. She said she thought deeply about what that would mean for her daughter in the future. For that reason, she allowed Tristan to be in the room during the birth. She wanted True to have that memory, even if True was too young to remember it herself. Khloe felt it was important for her daughter to one day hear the story and know that her father was there at the very beginning. Khloe made it clear that this decision wasn't easy, and it wasn't because she had forgiven him at that time. In fact, she shared that after the birth, when everything was done and the cameras were put away, she told Tristan that they were finished. She said she couldn't talk to him and needed space from him. But she waited until after the birth was complete and after she had done everything she felt was needed for True. She kept her feelings inside just so she could focus on welcoming her daughter in the most peaceful way possible. Khloe said that she made sure to capture those moments on her own camera at home, so that one day, True could see how loved she was. She said that once everything was done and the camera was turned off, she let Tristan know that things were not okay between them. It was her way of putting her daughter first but also standing up for herself at the right time. Khloe's story shows how much strength she had during one of the most difficult times in her life. Even though she was hurt and heartbroken, she stayed calm and focused for the sake of her daughter. She did what she believed was best for her child, and that's something she's proud of. It also shows how sometimes, being a parent means putting your child's needs before your own pain. She didn't want to ruin the memory of her daughter's birth, so she made the choice to stay composed, even if it meant hiding her feelings for a while. She has talked about this moment before, but this time, she gave even more details and allowed people to see just how emotional that time was for her. It's not easy to open up about something so personal, especially when it involves heartbreak. But Khloe felt it was important to share her truth, especially because so many people look up to her and see her as a strong person. She wanted others to know that even when someone looks strong on the outside, they might still be going through a lot on the inside. Khloe's decision to have Tristan in the room during the birth is something that not everyone would have been able to do. It took a lot of emotional strength, and it shows how much she puts her daughter first. She didn't let her anger or pain take over in that moment. She thought about the future and what would be best for her child. That kind of thinking shows a lot of maturity and love. Even though Khloe is no longer with Tristan in a romantic way, they still share a connection through their daughter. Khloe has always said that her children come first, and this story is just one example of how she lives by that belief. It's not always easy, but she does what she believes is best for her kids. That includes making hard choices and sometimes putting her own feelings aside for their happiness. Looking back, Khloe admits that it was one of the most challenging times in her life. The emotional pain, the public attention, and the pressure of being a new mom all came at the same time. But she faced it all with grace. She was able to focus on what mattered most, the safe arrival of her daughter. And even though she felt empty and disconnected during the birth, she never let that stop her from being the mother she wanted to be. She also mentioned how the support from her family helped her get through that time. Her sisters and her mom were there for her during the birth, and they helped her stay strong. Thanks for watching. Please do well to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Kardashian updates.